on here. So welcome back. We're going to do something a little special today. So I was doing a little bit of work in terms of the Cosmic Comic Book Club. So we're going to have our first meeting of the Cosmic Comic Book Club on, when is it? The last Monday of every month. So the first one is going to be on, oh my goodness, what are the dates? January is a really long month, you guys. 27. So Monday, the 27th of January. So we're going to be doing something like an exploration on multiverses because I was, welcome guys. Oh, hello. Dom, Johnny Jones, user with a bunch of numbers, Nokia. So I typically read comic books to you guys, and we are going to do the same thing today, but we're going to do something that a little bit more of an analysis as it comes to the DC multiverse, because the whole reason why I do these comic book reads is because I'm working on my own comic book, and it's like we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? So those who have come before us have figured out a lot of stuff as it comes to dealing with like time travel and multiverses and rules of traversing these realms. So I wanted to do a little bit of a deep dive with you guys. I'm going to show you guys the comic books. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to TikTok Live. I only recently got access back, so I was like, you know what? I am not going to take it for granted again, but also realizing that we have to be aware of like not putting all our eggs in one basket, right? Like don't be completely dependent on any one type of platform, right? So we are going to revisit Crisis on Infinite Earths. And as you guys can see, I have some post-its in here because I'm not going to read through the whole thing. We'll be here for quite a long time. And way back in the day, well, not that long ago, a few months ago when I first started doing live comic book reads with you guys, this is the comic book I first started with. But we are also going to look at Multiversity, because these are comic books that deal a lot with the DC multiverse. Now, I know that Marvel, I've been doing some looking into Marvel as well, so if you're interested in looking at multiverses as a whole, I know it's been a while. It's, you know what, the live thing has been down for me. Like I was like, wow, how come I'm in Canada and I shouldn't even be banned, and yet it took me forever to get my live access back. I'm like, perhaps I'm speaking some truth, you guys. So this is a little bit of a special comic book read because we're gonna do a little bit of an analysis as well as to multiverses. I have some fun how should I put it, consciousness-inducing questions to ask you guys. Hey, Papa Dave, so nice to see you again. We're back, baby. Welcome back to the Cosmic Comic Book Club. So I know that my schedule has been all over the place. I am so sorry, my friends. And thank you all of you who are my new subscribers to YouTube and all my other channels. To do a bit more of an introduction as to my content creation as a whole. Hey, Nathan Gallagher. So cosplay for me personally has been very healing. How should I put this? I've only recently come back to myself in a sense. I grew up in the prairies in Manitoba, so I'm like a prairie girl who's in the big city. Thanks, Papa Dave. This is like my OG Supergirl outfit. It's more my like low-key super. It's not with the opulent cape and the shininess. It's more of like Supergirl low-key, because we're going to talk about Bizarro Girl. This morning, interesting. Okay, so Bizarro is funny too, right? Because Bizarro, I know what you guys think about that, because I read in one comic book that Bizarro happens when you clone Kryptonians, right? And so eventually all Kryptonians, if you clone them, become Bizarro. But then when I was reading another comic book, it was like, oh, there's a Bizarro planet, right? And this planet, like, Bizarros are like sensitive to blue kryptonite and things like that. So it's funny though, right? Because when you look at even Superman and Supergirl's powers, it's yes is backwards. It's 1 a.m. here. Well, technically it is morning, right, Sebastian? Okay, so I'm gonna get into the read with I'm gonna read you guys some panels from both Crisis and Multiversity. There's a there's a, oh my goodness, the story I'm going to read in the Multiversity book is something called The Just. And I'll explain why in just a second. Because it's all about this concept of multiverses, right? But you can't be all like willy-nilly, be like, all right, well, I'm just going to make a whole new universe to accommodate for this type of Superman that doesn't exist elsewhere, right? I love multiversity because it does come with a map, and Grant Morrison, of course, is quite a spicy comic book author when it comes to cosmic themes, right? And that's kind of like what we'll talk about today. I don't know if you guys have read Crisis on Infinite Earths. I have read this on this show before, but we are going to go back and like look at very specific. Let me look at. Oh my goodness. Life is not a battle. Hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying hi, you guys. And you know, it was a crazy thing when the live went down. I was like, oh my goodness. It was I was like, what am I going to do now? It's not like the same thing when I do it on other platforms. And so I was like, you know, like this, I love the engagement with you guys. It's been such a treat to connect with all of you, where a lot of these comic book stories mean a lot to you as well. And so, some disclosure, it's hard for me to admit this, but like I had a really tough childhood in the sense of like my relationship with my mother. My relationship with my father is an amazing one, but remember, like dads and daughters and mom, it's a different dynamic, right? And I've also been friends with a lot of guy friends as well. And I've done a lot of like revisiting my old past self and realized that there's a lot of girls who have hurt boys that I've been friends with, like break their hearts and stuff like that, my father included, right? And there's this level of, you know, just because it's a woman doing it just doesn't necessarily mean that she's in the right. I know that Sean Connery also said that one line. It's like, oh, sometimes a girl just, like, a woman just needs to be slapped or whatever. I don't agree with that necessarily. However, I will say that I have been friends with women, or like, where like the behavior is not a good one, right? We just watched Nosferatu, and Lily Rose Depp is in that, and she's amazing. And I'm not saying that she is one of those women who like goes out of her way to like, oh, because like Dracula picks her, but there's this like thing with women where it's like, well, they're not honest about wanting the male gaze, I suppose. And I was telling one of my girlfriends this. I'm like, you know, it's not such a bad thing to like want to be loved, right? It's not such a bad thing to be like, hey, I would like a good guy. You know, you don't have to have it be dramatic and stuff. Like, where did this come from? And I blame like soap operas and all this stuff that gets implanted. And I will say that comic books have been a great way for me to have like role models. Like, so instead of me looking up to celebrities, I looked up to fictional characters, right? Because fictional characters live in this world of imagination, of idealism. So, went through. Oh, you know, it's just one of those things, right? When you're a child, and comic books have literally, and these stories have literally saved my life. So I let you guys in on a lot of these stories because perhaps there's something in there for you that can really help you out if you're going through a hard time right now. There's a lot in the air cosmologically, because as you guys know, I do astrology. Thanks for the follow, Dave. And it's been hard for me to make a schedule when it comes to my comic book reads, because I treat my comic book reads kind of like divination, right? So when I do freestyle dance, for example, when I go-go dance, I can anticipate the drop, right? I can anticipate what's coming next in the song, because songs like stories, you know, you have like verse, then chorus, then verse, then bridge. So there's this rhythm to it. Same thing goes with stories. Now, manly heroes are basically frowned upon now. I know, Demo. I don't know. I was telling my girlfriends this. So my sister was talking to me. She was dating a guy. She's single, by the way. She was dating a guy who is, he's a recovering drug addict. And I say drug addict very loosely because our society doesn't do a great job with nuance when it comes to all the different drugs. Like coffee's a drug, alcohol's a drug, but they don't get treated the same way as like cannabis or LSD or like crack. It's all kind of like blanketed together in like one thing, and there's no nuance to it. Now, when it comes to each of our own personal problems and our personal demons, right? I've been very blessed. I've been in a relationship for 10 years, but you know, as you go through that and you grow together, each of your like darkest, deepest selves come out, and there's a level of being able to love someone else. You do have to love yourself, like, just you do, because if you don't truly love yourself, you're going to like end up externalizing parts of your shadow onto other people. Take it from someone who has done that. You know, like, so all the parts of me that were like, you're just being jealous, you're being possessive, then like I was doing those things. Oh, hey Pikachu. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna get into, this is not like a relationship advice thing right now, but I do have a lot of single girlfriends and I have a lot of single guy friends. So I'm just like, so how do I connect the dots here? Because I'm a Venetian person, and so relationships to me are a big part of what life's all about, right? You don't know how important the role is you have to play with like friends in your life, right? And that's what matters, right? Not necessarily like celebrities or people out there. Oh, thank you. Life is not a battle. You are also appreciated. Thanks, Mia. I always love all the pretty comments because I always quote Marilyn Monroe, where like every girl should be told that she's pretty, you know, even if she's not. And beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So to someone somewhere, you are beautiful. And to me, like even when I used to compete in fitness, I would always pick out girls who I thought looked amazing, and whether or not they placed or not, I'd find them and like tell them like, you were awesome, you look beautiful, because it cost me nothing to tell them something that I already think, right? And there's also a level of learning how to accept the compliment. But you are thank you, you guys. Okay, so let's go into oh yeah, so this tattoo is also done by my good girlfriend Lorena, and she is Cuban, and she does like freehand tattoo art and tattoo, like I'm half Filipino, and so tattooing in Filipino culture just like have a lot of like spiritual significance to it, in the sense of like I wear them like badges of honor, and like this idea of being a flower that's able to grow through the concrete and be able to bloom. You know, strength is not always loud. Strength can be like a gentle, quiet kind of strength as well, right? You just have to know what kind of strength is yours. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Crisis on Infinite Earths, I have a very strong connection to it just because I was born in 1985. Crisis on Infinite Earths came out in 1985. The whole premise, the whole reason why Crisis even was created by Marv Wolfman, who's also the creator of Nightwing, who I have a huge crush on, and George Perez is his illustrator. There's this level here of collaboration, or rather, you're going to have different universes colliding with each other. So back in the day when Flashpoint storyline happened, you ended up having like different worlds, like different Earths, like Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3. Now, all of these different infinite Earths, the product of, spoiler alert for this story is that the Earths all converge into one, right? So Earth 2, for example, this is where Crypto comes from and Superboy come from. I'm still working. If you're interested in my mapping of all this, I am going through a multiverse deep dive on the Cosmic Comic Book Club on Monday the 29th. So the first hour is going to be free, and the second hour is going to be more of like a nerdy deep dive if you guys are interested in that. But in Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's like you had these infinite Earths, right? And it basically was synthesized down where you had one main Superman, one main Batman, all that kind of stuff. So like fun fact, Helena Bertinelli, who is known as Huntress in Birds of Prey, in Earth 2, oh my goodness, thank you, Life is Not a Battle, for all the gifts. She's actually Catwoman and Batman's daughter, but only in Earth 2. Same thing goes with, I was trying to map out, so also spoiler alert, Supergirl makes the ultimate sacrifice, just like with Flash in this story, where she sacrifices herself so that the multiverse may live, or that universes may live. So without further ado, I'm just going to get into the read of that, and then we're going to jump into my read of The Just, and then we're going to do a quick little like chat about multiverses and your thoughts on what substantiates a world or a reality or real, not real imagination. Because as it comes to stuff astrologically, we're going to enter a time where what seemed really real is going to feel really not real, and a lot of your dreams are going to feel much more real than what consensus reality is going to kind of sound like, right? Okay, so worlds will live, worlds will die, and the universe will never be the same. So I'm just going to flip to, I've read this one before with you guys, but I'm going to read it again because I'm filming something where, because I cosplay as both Supergirl and Batgirl, and I typically cosplay as the girls that I see myself in, like they're aspects of me, and so Batgirl and Supergirl do work together on different missions together, right? But they have different, like Batgirl commonly talks down about herself because she's like, I don't have superpowers. What am I doing even being a hero? But she's got intellect, right? And the same thing goes with Batman, or this idea of like, we don't need to downplay ourselves or disparage ourselves like just because we're human. To be a human being is such a beautiful thing, and I think that we shouldn't forget that. So, oh my gosh, this is getting difficult to read. So this is July 1985. Oh my gosh, I have to let my eyes adjust to the lightness. Just give me a second. Let me bring this closer. I may have to change the glasses, but we'll see. Go up. I'm gonna bring this light a little bit closer to me. Hang tight, my friends. I also have this on YouTube and Beam as well, because I learned from the last little like losing my live access that like I can't trust it. Okay, there we go. Hopefully it's not too bright. I'm like blinding myself, but okay. All right, so Supergirl flies in to chat with Batgirl. There's the end of the world basically happening, right? Batgirl, you called me? This city, it's so empty. Mostly everyone is staying inside with their loved ones, awaiting the end. I think this time it's really coming. I know the feeling, says Supergirl. And you're right, hardly anyone is outside, not even the criminals. But there must be a way to stop whatever's out there. I'm not ready to give in so easily. Supergirl. Linda. Well, her name's Linda in this, right? Not Kara. So it's funny because I was talking about how Linda Lee, Power Girl, and all the other versions of Supergirl, they're all Kara Zor-El, right? So the mapping of all the different versions of Supergirl, as well as the one that comes from the 30th century with like the good Brainiac, all needs to be mapped out. Ooh, did I miss something here? Hey JTCBC, oh my goodness. Hopefully I got all of the letters in your acronym correct. Welcome to the live read. So we're going to read some Crisis, and then we're going to go into Multiversity, and then we're going to do a quick chat about multiverses, and then I'm going to give you guys a little invite to the Cosmic Comic Book Club. And I will give you guys, if you send me a DM and you're part of this live stream, I'll let you guys in on like the first, because typically I'm going to let you guys pay for the second half because it's going to be spicy material, but I'll give you guys like a free little pass to it. Just send me a DM once I get it all set up. Okay, Supergirl, Linda. I have faced death so often because I never really truly believed. Oh my goodness, that was a mouthful. Let me repeat that. Supergirl, Linda. I have faced death so often because I never truly believed I would die. But now I feel so useless, so helpless, so worthless, and so very, very scared. Everyone is, Barbara. I've spoken to Superman and the Titans, and they say the Flash may have died. And other heroes, some villains too, have just disappeared. I'm scared too, but I can't let that stop me from doing what I have to do. Well said, Supergirl. Easy for you to say, says Batgirl. Look at you. You have powers. I'm nothing. I don't think I was ever really cut out for playing hero. Barbara, there are thousands of people out there without powers like mine. The police, firemen, soldiers, they're all ordinary people trying their best to keep this world from falling apart before it's time. Uh-oh. There's a small plane north of the city, and it's falling apart. Ooh, I am reading Crisis on Infinite Earths, Omaha, but I'm not doing just Crisis. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into like multiverses. So I'm reading from here just because I have a personal connection to Supergirl, just because she literally died when I came into form. So like April 1985 was when Crisis on Infinite Earths came out, and Supergirl died and I came into life. So it's just this interesting thing. And Joe Shuster, which is the co-creator of Superman and Supergirl, is actually from my hometown of Toronto. Well, not hometown. I'm from Winnipeg, but I'm in Toronto. And it's funny, on Saturday I was actually at a party where it was on Joe Shuster Way. I was going to dress up as Supergirl for it, but it was too cold to do that. Hello, I'm the devil. Nice to meet nice to meet you as well. Okay, so let's continue. So Supergirl spots a small plane just north of the city, and of course she's got to do what Supergirl's got to do, and she's out. This is a job for Supergirl. And then Batgirl looks onward as Supergirl flies off. She doesn't give a moment's thought to herself or her safety. Yet I know she cares if she lives or dies. She's a hero through and through, while all I can think about is what will happen to me. My God, what have I become? Only seconds to act. The momentum from this plane is tossing that pilot directly into the antimatter cloud. There, I've got you. Supergirl? You saved me, but why? We're all going to die anyways. We fight to live as long as we can. That's the only way to live. And to be able to live with yourself. And Batgirl continues, a hero through and through. What have I become? Actually, wait, hold on. I need to get my little drink of R2-D2. You guys hold tight. I will be right back. So we're going to do a little bit of another read where we give homage to my girl, Supergirl, who's Linda Lee in this, interestingly enough. And then we're going to go into reading a portion of The Just, which is part of the New 52, which is like a reconfiguration of course, the DC multiverse yet again. But it's an interesting world, and you'll see why I want to look at it in just a second. Wolfie, you okay? All right, returned. I am back. Oh, JPPC. Hello, welcome. And oh yes, the likes here. Cinch123. Thank you for the likes. And who else did I miss here? Spider Carnage. Hey, welcome. We're all back in the live, my friends. So I'm doing a little special reading today, just because like the live thing kind of threw me for a loop, because I didn't actually believe that it would go down, because I work in tech, right? So I'm just like, VPN, we can work around. How can you actually ban an application? But don't worry, my friends. I have some new goals for 2025, including having an AM radio station. I'm going to call it Renegade Radio. You're like, because if the grid goes down, what are you going to do, right? And so I've got secret plans for that. I can't reveal all of that on TikTok, of course not. But if you ever wanted to be on a radio show, and I know there's a few of you out there who have like really nice radio voices, I've heard you. So give me a shout. I'm doing yeah, I'm just setting that all up. Okay, because you remember like Terminator 2, right? I have a lot in common with Sarah Connor as well. I love Sarah Connor. Okay, guests here. Steven, hey, how's it going? Aw, you guys, I've missed you guys too. You guys, it's so crazy how I feel like many of you guys, like, we all came from the same star family somewhere where you're like, you know what seems fun? This game called Earth. It's really hard, but I think we should do it. Okay, so I was just reading you about how in Crisis, the whole premise of it, in 1985, DC Comics dramatically altered comics' original universe with Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is a 12-issue series that rocked the comics community, tragically dooming some of DC's most beloved characters and drastically altering others. Now remember, we're in a time of rebirth, right, and resurrection, and the reading tomorrow that I'm going to do is Avengers versus X-Men, and in that, as Phoenix, this element of with destruction, with death comes a rebirth, this way of like re-understanding ourselves through even, when we sacrifice ourselves to ourselves, like our past selves, without, losing sight of the memories that we have created with them. So I'm going to flip ahead here to the point where our heroes go into the antimatter world and they fight the anti-monitor. And this is the thing about superheroes, right? Like, you have to have some type of balance with them, because if they're too overpowered, then it's like not interesting, right? Oh yes, yeah. And like, if you guys ever watched like Coast to Coast back in the day, and I've driven across this great country, Canada, like driven it many times, and out there, all you get is AM radio, and I'm all for like, like War of the Worlds back in the day, when like, as I said, when the grid goes down, like Snake Plissken at the end of Escape from LA, it all goes dark. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna access your Bitcoin then, Elon? Okay. Okay, so let's see here. We've got the heroes. Now, do it now. I don't know how long I can keep this portal open. Oh yeah, so I'll give you guys some like background info here, just because I'm like throwing you into Crisis. It's like a dream, right? It's like just throwing you in the middle of the story. So in Crisis on Infinite Earths, there's a threat to all of the multiverses, because you have this anti-monitor, which is basically killing off Earths and worlds and taking that energy and using it to sustain the antimatter universe. Shout out to George Norrie on Coast to Coast. Oh my gosh, yes. I would love George Norrie to voice one of the characters. Who do you think George Norrie would be a great voice for? I feel like he'd be like a good, not Pariah, because I dislike you, Pariah, in here, but maybe Lex Luthor even in here, because Lex Luthor in here, he's actually a hero, because he's able to open this portal, because, I don't know if you guys ever saw the show, The Man in the High Castle. It's like, it's all about, like, Philip K. Dick wrote a bunch of, like, crazy stuff, right? Including Blade Runner, Minority Report, all that kind of stuff. But in Man in the High Castle, if you watch that show, it's this idea of there's multiverses as well. And in one of them, what's his name? Rufus Sewell? Rufus Sewell. He's also in Dark City, which I feel like is a weird tell. He's bad in like all universes except for one, where he's like a good guy. And the same thing kind of goes here with Lex Luthor, where Lex Luthor in like all the universes, of course, is a bad guy, but except for one. And because of that, he's able to open the portal between, the matter and the antimatter universe because of this idea of like darkness and the light and this concept of anti-heroes as well, like this idea that villains and heroes working together to fight for existence itself. I read the PKD novel. Nice, nice. Oh yeah. Oh yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Tidy. Alternate crazy timeline. Yes, I love alternate crazy timelines because if you think about it too, I was watching Wolfie. I finally have Wolfie out of the cone. He's been going through a lot of like health stuff lately, so I've just been like keeping an eye on him. But I don't want to put you back in the cone, Wolfie. If you have allergies and stuff, my goodness. Being a dog mom, I swear to goodness. It's been a full-time job lately. Crypto, getting him ready. Okay, so let's go back here because we're going to read out Supergirl's Great Sacrifice. I heard comics. Yes, and then he gets dreams and stuff because my dog has a very active imagination, I think, as well. Okay, so Lex Luthor is holding open this portal for the heroes to go and fight the Anti-Monitor. And so the universe opens like the biblical parting of the Crimson Sea. Was it always a Crimson Sea? That's an interesting thing to me. Behind them, 5 universes at the brink of destruction. It's up to me to lead you to our enemy, the reason I was recruited by the Monitor. I, who unwittingly unleashed the demon, now take his warriors to hopeful victory. Monitor, you are wiser than I could know. I give you thanks, for this is my atonement. Well, I mean, I don't like Pariah, but I guess it's good that he gets his whole character arc here and chance for redemption. Everyone deserves it, even Pariah. So they fly through the portal. Through the breach they fly, the mightiest, the bravest, the greatest beings who ever lived. What do they think as they pierce the barrier which leads them into the antimatter universe? What fears remain unspoken? What hopes and dreams push them on into the unknown? Ooh, Marv, nice writing. Any ordinary being would have turned back long before swirling omnipresent dark could claim them. Yet they continue on and on and on. These are the most powerful of 6 universes. Nothing can stop them. Nothing will stop them. The final barrier stands before us, and as they scream in cosmic agony, the interuniversal membrane is ruptured. Ooh. And on and on and on. You know, as Dr. Manhattan would say, there is no beginning, there is no end. Things are just are, right? And it's just our perception that lets us see where we are in the story, right? And so they pierce the membrane of, it's called, what they call it, the interuniversal membrane. We're through. Now where to? Ahead to that slowing asteroid. I feel the Anti-Monitor's evil all around me, urging me on, bringing me to him. Follow me, and I will take you to where danger lurks. And they do. And that's why Pariah's there, right? Because he apparently goes to wherever there is a crisis. So he's like their beacon, their like waypoint finder to know where to go. So they're now in the antimatter universe. Now, this is important to note because they're in the antimatter universe, none of their powers will work the way anticipated, right? So Supergirl herself, this is why she is weakened, why she's at a point where she could perish, is because you're in the antimatter universe and you set these parameters now where things don't behave as normal. So there's a tell in that, I think, as well, to different universes and like the rules that surround those worlds. Okay. And what they see floating before them that, oh my gosh, that great stone fortress of the Anti-Monitor. It's kind of creepy looking. And then you have all our heroes descending upon it, right? Stung them with its cold, majestic grandeur. Holy moly, says Shazam / Captain Marvel of the DC Universe. In all my years, I've never seen anything like it before. It's almost like a floating, scary-looking fortress of solitude in the middle of, like, space. And then, while within this fortress, they come, says the Anti-Monitor, in their vain attempt to save their universes. Their only reward shall be death. No, perhaps not. Come to me, Psycho Pirate. What a name, right? Psycho Pirate is kind of annoying. Like, he's like one of the villains who they try to get to recruit to like help the team. But of course, like the issue with villains is they tend to double cross you and they can't be trusted. So, alas. Use your emotion controlling powers to make those warriors my slaves. Monitor, you used me to control all those worlds. It'll take me some time to recharge. I can't do anything right now. What? Says the Anti-Monitor. Why do you think I have kept you alive? You need to control those 3 Earths was not anticipated. Your need to control those 3 Earths was not anticipated. When the Monitor interrupted with my plans, or interfered with my plans, I merely used your powers to facilitate it. But I need you here right now. The Anti-Monitor is a bad guy, so it's not like he's like a good boss. So Psycho Pirate, you kind of like followed the wrong guy. Just saying. And you failed me. Very well, I must take matters into my own hands. Have to admit it, Kara, says Superman as he's flying with Supergirl. I'm a little worried. You too? I thought I was the only one. My God, what happens if we fail here? Ooh. Jers, thanks for the rose. Appreciate it. Superman says back, well, I don't want to think about it. What would happen if we fail here? I can't find the others. Neither can I. My X-ray vision is not working. It must be the antimatter universe. Physical laws are different here. Which makes me wonder about my atomic powers. When we finally meet the Anti-Monitor, will they even work? Where is he, Pariah? When do we fight for our worlds? All too soon, Dr. Light. I feel that our enemy is frighteningly close. Thinking to yourself, Firestorm? Nothing you'd understand, Ray. You know, till now, I've sort of treated everything in my life as a game. But I'm scared now. I'm really scared. Firestorm, I think we all are. None of us know if we're going to make it out of this crisis alive. Getting inside the fortress was too easy. I agree, Lady Quark. Keep your eyes open, everyone. The feeling is growing inside me that we are in danger. Pariah always says that, so I take that with a grain of salt. Great Scott! The statuary is alive. This thing cannot kill me. Move on. I am invulnerable to harm. No, we're not going anywhere without you. And then the golem thing, like, crashes the party and smashes into Superman and Pariah. Superman has been hurt. And these stone creatures are everywhere now. Lord Karak, guide my hand. My husband, I need you. I need you here beside me. And then Superman, like, as he gets hit back, is like, whoa, I feel awful. And then, great Scott, my hand. So he's bleeding because you're in the antimatter universe. So it's this realization that you're not as invulnerable being a soup, a soup in the antimatter world. So the stakes have now been risen, heightened, whichever way you want to put it. Wherever you are, dear Karak, help me avenge your death. And meanwhile, Superman's like touching his nose and looking down, like, oh my gosh, am I bleeding right now? What the heck's going on? Uh-oh, talk about your living nightmares. Ray? Oh my God, he's Great Hera. They're all around us. And you know when someone says Great Hera, that's got to be Wonder Woman. Mon-El, watch out! And the creepy anti-monitor's there watching the whole thing, attacking them with his golems. Uh-oh, just barely got clear. Do you want to do this together? At the count of 3, Jade, my power ring and your powers in one concentrated blast. Huh, Martian Manhunter, I swear I knocked them down twice. And they're still getting up. Then let us pray the others have gotten through. So they're all working together as a team. Meanwhile, Supergirl and Superman have their own problems to deal with. And remember, there's 2 Superman that went on this team. There's like Superman from Earth 2 and Superman from Earth 1. The Superman from Earth 2 is like an older, like more mature Superman. They're not letting up. If anything, Kara, their attack is getting stronger. So interesting. Superman calls her Kara, but Batgirl calls her Linda. Interesting. I know. And these rocks freaking hurt. Thank goodness my heat vision is working, melting some of them before they get through. Some is hardly enough. Ironic. On Earth we're unbeatable, but here Captain Atom definitely has the upper hand. And even he is not invulnerable. My atom blast may turn boulders into pebbles, but what good is it when they can only reseal themselves with such ease? They simply can't be stopped. Maybe, Captain. Then again, maybe not. Destroying them may not be the answer. Those parts will simply come together, Supergirl. I know, she says. The trick is to delay their regrouping. So it's like, even when I'm playing Halo with my hubby in the Flood, and like you shoot the Flood, and all the parts are like, yeah, but you can see them actually like reassemble and become like a guy again. So it's basically like what's happening here with the stone creatures that's attacking them. Once they get blasted apart, all the little pieces come back together and become like a golem again. So it's kind of like, well, what's the point? But Supergirl's saying like, well, the trick is to delay their regrouping so that you can actually do what you need to do. Re-strategize, right? Okay, the trick is to delay their regrouping. And I can do that by scattering their pieces across the entire galaxy. Super breath may be one of my dumber powers, but it sure comes in handy now and then. So she, like Supergirl herself is like, my super breath is not one of my favorite powers, but it's one of the ones that works, so I gotta use it. And then Superman here says, great going, cousin. Let's get a move on. And speaking of regrouping, we've got to meet with Pariah and the others. Knock 'em down, get 'em up. I get rid of 2 and 1 and 1 more pop-up. It ain't fair, Ray. It ain't fair. So complain to the Antimatter Universe's Chamber of Commerce, why don't you? Come on, Professor Stein. You inhabit this nuclear body along with me. What do I do now? Ronald, antimatter affects your powers. They don't act as they would normally do. Great. Now you tell me. Superman and Supergirl are getting through. Thank goodness for that. Come on. We can make it too. Superman, we'll keep them tied up back here. I know you'll do your best, Wonder Woman. I have complete faith in both of you. Where is the other Superman? I'm sure he's on his way, Pariah. Don't worry about that man, lad. He's the best there is, bar none. But time is so crucial. The 5 Earths are only hours away from their final merging. And if they all phase into being at the same time, they will destroy each other, says Pariah. Then we'll somehow stop that from happening. You yourself said that whatever machines the Anti-Monitor is using would be here. Where is Pariah? The road was blocked and I was forced to take some detours. He flew on with the female Dr. Light. Now, hurry, my friend. You are our last hope. I need Superman's power. The two of us are not enough. Do you know what you are doing, Pariah? If you lead us the wrong way, Dr. Light is questioning him. I am well aware of the consequences, Dr. Light. I swear I will not cause the destruction of all life. My question is, we needed Harbinger, Alex Luthor, and you, but why did the Monitor, great sons, that mountain, Pariah? He's gone. Dr. Light, where's Pariah? They said he was with you. He was, but the Anti-Monitor just killed him. The Anti-Monitor is going to pay. I don't even know, how could you, just like Pariah, disappeared. I don't know if the Anti-Monitor killed him, but perhaps I missed that. That's what Dr. Light says. No, stop. Pariah can't be killed. Too late. She's gone. Dr. Light's changing. When I first met her, she fit more on Luthor's side than ours. Maybe she isn't as evil as I thought. But whether she is or not, I'm not letting her face the Anti-Monitor alone. Of course you won't, Superman. Thank Krypton you waited. I am not a fool, Superman. Look inside. I found it. My God, what is it? It's a solar collector. Of that much I am certain. Obviously converting starlight into energy. It's far beyond anything we've got on Earth. Superman, the Anti-Monitor uses this machine to reduce the vibrational differences between the Earths. You're certain about that? I'm a scientist. Light, after all, is my specialty. Let me study this. Imagine what I can create on Earth with this technology. No, this is the machine that I've got to destroy. With it eliminated, the Earths won't merge and destroy each other. So there's a tell there too in terms of how the Earths are able to converge with each other. It's all a matter of frequency and vibration, right? So in this case, the Anti-Monitor's machine basically reduces the vibrational differences between the Earths, and that allows for this merging of the Earths. So Dr. Light wants to study it because she thinks, of course, being a scientist, oh, this tech would be so great to bring back to Earth. But Superman's like, listen, we got to destroy it. Don't lose sight of what we're here to do, right? Okay. And attacks. Elsewhere, he is all-powerful, unstoppable, and definitely invulnerable. Yet here, this man of tomorrow can suffer like any other mortal. Oh my Lord. He can suffer the agony of near destruction. And Supergirl feels Superman in trouble, yells out, Kal-El, he needs me. And Supergirl rushes ahead, knowing full well that whatever could bring such pain to her powerful cousin could definitely destroy her. But Supergirl is a hero, and her concerns are not for herself, but for who she loves. I'm with you, Supergirl. You are believed to be the greatest of them all, but you and all the others will die, says the Anti-Monitor. Your universes shall perish with you. Then mine shall be the only one to survive. I did not wish to join this fight before, but now I cannot allow you to win, says Dr. Light.
Ah, the female Dr. Light. My brother created you, didn't he? He did it so I could destroy you, and I intend to carry out his last wishes. No, you will not. I will deal with you, girl, after I've destroyed this one. Your mission here cannot succeed. I hear him breathing, thinks Supergirl as she's flying towards Superman. But he's so weak, and his heart is beating so fast. Good Lord, the anti-monitor is killing him. By the canals of Mars, this whole mad world against us? Seems so, Manhunter, and we just have to keep on fighting back as best we can. None of you can survive, yells the anti-monitor. Pariah? Where's Superman? I was formed with the birth of this antimatter universe. It is my destiny to extend its power, to be the ruler of all who live. And see, I told you I didn't think Pariah was actually dead, right? I knew that he was still around. Just kind of went through a blip. So he says, I don't know, Supergirl, but every fiber in my being cries out, can't you smell it, Supergirl? Death is all around us. There can be no escape. You are wrong, Pariah, says Supergirl. There is always hope. You can't give up hoping, not ever. I shall not be stopped, yells the anti-monitor rather. They're kind of connected in a weird way too. Oh, thanks, you guys. This is also why I love Supergirl, because no matter what, up against all odds, she doesn't give up hope. And she's such a badass. Love it. Dimes to Dope, thank you for being here. And Gotten Bitch, hey, it's been a little while. So happy you're here. We're revisiting Crisis on Infinite Earths before I read a little bit of the Justin here as part of our exploration into multiverses. Dun dun dun. Oh my goodness. I think also too, the universe has been busy. Consciousness has been busy. There's a lot of stuff that's supposed to happen in 2025. So, okay, so where are we here? So Supergirl says, you can't give up on hoping, not ever. And then the anti-monitor yells out, I shall not be stopped. He'll be alive. He has to be. But if he's not, I swear I will carry on for him. I may never be as good as he is, but Cal always taught me to do my best. Nothing else matters. Be true to yourself. Be the best you are able to. Don't ever give anything but your best. I've lived with his idea, and heaven knows I've tried my hardest to live up to it. And I think, for the most part, I have. I think you're the one responsible for all this insanity, for all those deaths. How could you care so little for life? My God, all those people, those worlds, those universes, all gone, all gone. Supergirl doesn't stop. She keeps hitting him, fighting him, and she doesn't care about herself at all. No more, girl, says the anti-monitor. I'll not again be touched by one such as you. You humans rush wholly into death, I swear, though it shall come soon enough. First this one whom you call your cousin, then you and all the others. You shall be together only in the mists of eternity. No, you are not going to kill Superman. I will not allow it. Do you hear me? What? All my life, I've considered life the greatest of all gifts. You're but a blasphemy of life. You do not deserve to survive. Stop it! You are destroying my life shell. So Supergirl is giving the anti-monitor hell, and all on her own too, right? Because she's protecting her cousin, Superman. She is a hero, totally selfless and concerned only with others, while I have wasted away my life with selfishness. And Superman is now looking up, seeing Supergirl beating the crap out of the anti-monitor, saying, Kara, no more, Supergirl, no more. Whatever happens here, you've shown me the truth. It is over, Supergirl. You have destroyed most of my body. I feel my energies waning. Thus, I can wait no longer. You are dead. Oh, yay. Oh, my goodness. Thanks, Shay Hamilton. You've managed to complete my quest. So also stay tuned. The last Monday of the month, which is January. Thanks, Thunder. Oh, my goodness. Where are we here? On the 27th, Monday the 27th, I'm going to be doing a very special live stream where we're going to do a deep dive into multiverses, and not just DC. It's going to be Marvel as well, and different movies and stories that deal with multiverses. So if you're interested in that, the first hour will be free, but the second hour you can sign up for as well. And please do bring your favorite stories that have to do with multiverses, whether it's movies, comics, or like anything really, like songs, any kind of artistic piece that deals with the dimensionality that we are living through, because it's a way for us to kind of like put the dots together as it comes to this age of Aquarius that we're living through, right? Okay, where are we here? So Supergirl is giving it her best because that's what, Superman has like inspired her to do. So the anti-monitor continues on. You, your cousin, your friends, your worlds, all shall die with you. The whole planet is shaking. His power is incredible. Dr. Light, listen to me. It's up to you to save Kal-El. Oh, hey, Steven Sylvester. Hey, welcome. And also welcome, guys, back to the comic book read. I decided to go back and revisit Crisis on Infinite Earths as a way of like coming back to like analyzing why I'm even reading comic books to you guys, because embedded in these stories is intel for each of us. So wherever there is resonance in stories are like breadcrumbs for you, from like an ancient future time. But that's just a belief. Century Marvel's Superman. I love all the equivalencies too, right? So for example, Captain Marvel, her alter ego is Carol Danvers, and Supergirl's alter ego is Kara Danvers, right? One of them at least. And so just interesting there, like the interesting equivalencies, which goes to show that these things are archetypes, right? The energies of these characters, much like Greek myth, where Venus is Aphrodite, is Hathor, they're all equivalencies, but have specific stories that are tied to that character. Thank you. Okay, and fun fact, Kara Zor-El in Krypton mythology, because Krypton actually has their own zodiac and pantheon of gods, Kara / Supergirl is named after the goddess of love and beauty. So that's fun, right? Fun fact. Okay. Can I see my live YouTube chat? Oh, yes, Thunderbeats. Yes, I can. Yes, but I'm on pull. Thanks for patience. Yeah, I'm also on because I'm on TikTok and I'm also on YouTube and I'm also on Rumble and all the other places, because I've tried to create redundancy because of what happened before with TikTok. So just to be sure that there's like extra, like all the different avenues, right? Okay. The whole planet is shaking. His power is incredible. Dr. Light, listen to me. It's up to you to save Kal-El. My cousin, Superman, I know what I have to do, and I need your cooperation. Anything you want. You can't know what you've already done for me. When I move, take Superman, find the others. Oh, goodness. Here comes your greatest sacrifice, my girl. Get out of this antimatter universe as fast as you can. Now, move, Light, move. What are you doing, Supergirl? You have sealed your fate. No, my machines! You have destroyed them. So that machine that was basically going to be the cause of the world converging into each other because of the vibrational equivalency things they're talking about. Supergirl just went in there and destroyed the damn thing, right? And the anti-monitor is freaking out. And so she destroys the machines, and then she says to the monitor, "As I'll destroy you, monitor, your plans are finished. It is all over." Over! Oh, yes, of course, Thunder Beast. Just to remind everybody, I am reading Crisis on Infinite Earths. It came out in 1985. The writer is Marv Wolfman, and the artist is George Perez. And these two are also the creators of Nightwing. There's actually a cool comic book story I need to find of where it's like a meta thing where like Nightwing talks to George Perez as like his father and his creator, which is interesting too because Nightwing Dick Grayson was also the original Robin. So that Dick Grayson had a different creator. So such an interesting thing when it comes to the creations of these characters and like letting them out into the world, kind of, you know? Okay. Supergirl's going for it. By the stars, they're locked in combat. He is killing her. I have to help you. No. Go. Go now. You turn in battle, girl? That is a fatal mistake. Oh no. Thoom. Kara! My body is destroyed. I cannot remain here. I need time to heal. So the anti-monitor, Kara, Supergirl, and the anti-monitor locked in combat. And because she had turned to Dr. Light and Superman just to make sure that they were okay, she got hit. But she also injured the anti-monitor quite a bit. So he takes off and he's like, I need time to heal. My shell has been hurt. It is not yet over. I shall stand triumphant at the dawn of time. Great Hera, what happened in there? The fortress is crumbling apart. Yeah, something's going on. And I bet it's nothing good. Everything's falling apart out here. I'll use my power ring to see what happened inside. Oh, hey, ATP. This is a new thing for me to do this on multiple platforms, so please bear with me as I try to, like, manage the chat. Hey, Wolfie. Do you want to say hi to your fans? You want on the bed? No. I'm not putting... I'm going to kick you out of the room. I'm going to have my Wolfie say hi to you guys. He's typically my crypto. But, doesn't have his outfit on right now. But, you want to say hi to your fans? Hi. Hi. Hello. Say hello to your fans, Nug Nug. Oh, it's too bright for your eyes. But he had a little bit of an eye injury. We had to deal with that. I'm going to kick you out of the room. So snug. You have your bed. Here. Go on. Okay. All right. Where were we? Stay tuned for my little adventures with Crypto. Crypto and Supergirl. Although, good to note that Supergirl apparently has a cat named Streaky? Scratchy? I'm not quite sure. But apparently Supergirl has a kitty. But she does have a really close relationship with Crypto. Okay, so she gets slammed. The anti-monitor is out. And then the fortress is crumbling apart. And then finally, Green Lantern. Yes, the machines which were merging with the Earths have been destroyed. But we had a casualty. Come on, Kara, don't give up. You'll make it. Please stay with us. I can't. But it's okay. I knew what I was doing. I wanted you to be safe. You mean so much to me. You mean so much to the entire world. You succeeded in destroying the machines. Thank heaven. The worlds have a chance to live. You're crying. Please don't. You taught me to be brave. And so I was. Oh yes, Streaky ATP. Yes, Streaky the cat. I was calling it. I think I was calling it the wrong name, but that's an ode to my own kitty Oreo, who's up in kitty heaven right now as well. You're crying, please don't. You taught me to be brave, and I was. I love you so much for what you are, for how good you are. It's not fair. She shouldn't have died for me. Where is he, the anti-monitor? I want to kill him for this. No. What? You'd let him get away with killing her. Kara gave us all a chance to save our worlds. Don't let your hunger for vengeance destroy that chance. You're right. We've got to hurry. Everything's going to pieces. We've got to go through the tunnel before Alex's strength fades. Yes. I'm ready. And then they all fly out. 5 universes are frozen in time and space, not fully merged, not wholly apart, but, for now, out of danger. The time distortion is mostly over, and, for the most part, life and death continue as if nothing has happened. Such peace will not remain for long. And so now we have like the newspaper articles talking about how Supergirl is dead. Lana Lang for WGBS News. It has been said that a true hero stands for truth and justice. Well, those words certainly pertain to Supergirl, cousin of Superman. Supergirl, who today sacrificed her life not only to save Superman, but to save our world and countless others. Thousands have gathered in Chicago to mourn for the Girl of Steel. Join us now with Lois Lane. Batgirl is the first to speak tonight. Lana, I understand that she is ready to begin. And so we now have Batgirl saying words about Supergirl in memoriam. Kara is a hero without equal. She was often my confidant and always my friend. Kara was a hero who, yes, cared about herself, but always seemed to care more for others. It is easy to dismiss the something special that made her a hero is because she had powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. But a hero is not measured by what her power may be, but by the courage she shows in living and the warmth that she holds in her heart. Let her courage give us courage. Let her love give us love. Let her hope give us hope. Kara is a hero. She will not be forgotten. Superman's Fortress of Solitude. I will miss you. The days will seem shorter now, and the nights that much longer. Sometimes I forget how mortal we really are. I don't believe I'll ever forget that again. I remember when you landed on Earth, a girl of 15. Oh, Thunder Beast? Yes, I'm still working on my creator-owned comic book. Yes. I'm very close to having that be open for people to see. The Dragon Warriors saga, which is based on like me and my friends and ancient Atlantean archetypes and a lot of dreams that I've only recently remembered from like a near-death experience I had back. Cyber Cafe. Maybe next time. Okay, let me continue this because I want to get through this, and then I have one last little piece to read you guys as it comes to the multiverse exploration we're doing tonight. Okay, so Superman is basically giving his ode to Kara, and this becomes an anchor event for Superman, right? This element of losing someone that you care about, because in the end, with heroes, it's a level of like you don't care about yourself, but it's a matter of for those that I love, for those that I care about, I will do anything. And this is like how the bad guys also
to heroes as well by like going after those they love. So this is why alter egos exist, why you have to keep certain things secret, all of that kind of stuff as it comes to like very practical tips as it comes to being a superhero in reality, right? Yeah, so I'm working on my own comic book. There's a piece of it that is a short film as well, which I'm going to be funding on Indiegogo called The Dragon Warriors Escape from District 6, which I'm trying to make as like an 80s synthwave outrun kind of movie. Oh, thank you. You know what? That's the thing, is that I had a near-death experience when I was 3. And I'm going to tell you guys that story because more of that came to me very recently when I went back to visit Winnipeg before we get into the read from Multiversity. And so we'll just finish this off as my ode to Supergirl. I remember when you landed on Earth, a girl of 15 filled with life and hopes. Linda Lee, hidden in that orphanage, secretly practicing your powers each night. Lord, I remember how proud I was the day we revealed your presence to the world. And now, Kara, now you are gone. And I grieve. I live on, hurt, but not disillusioned, sad, but still hopeful that the dreams shared by you and me and all those others, those with special powers, and especially those with none, those dreams of peace and hope can still come true. We live on remembering and honoring the past, but always looking to the future. Goodbye, Kara, Linda Lee, Supergirl. I will miss you forever. Oh, I just got all the tingles reading that. And you know what? Me cosplaying as Supergirl now is my way of giving her resurrection, right? Giving light to the story, her sacrifice. I don't think people know that about Supergirl, that like this storyline of how she sacrificed herself for the multiverse. Same thing goes with the Flash too, right? And they're kind of besties, which is kind of a fun relationship that I like between the two of them. And then I love this declaration of the free before I get into my little near-death experience story. And I'm going to read you guys a little piece of the just as well. Hey, Amari Landry, how's it going? Welcome to the live. Okay. Is there beyond the silent night and endless day? Is death a door that leads to light? We cannot say. The Declaration of the Free. I'm pretty good now that I'm back on lives again. I lost my live access when we had that whole inauguration. And you know, it's so trippy because there's a lot of ATP Jayco says the Flash is my favorite DC superhero. You know what, you guys, in the chat, just because we're looking at DC Multiverses right now, do you have a favorite DC? Who's your favorite DC superhero? I have such problems picking just one. The Flash is one of my favorites too. I'm actually working on a cosplay for my hubby of the Flash. There's some fun things there with the Flash and Supergirl working together. I actually love the CW Flash and like the relationship she has with Supergirl and the Flash there. That's a really sweet one, and I like the dynamic of it, and so I appreciate that. Oh, thanks you guys. That is a tough one to pick. You know, say whoever is your favorite that comes through in the ether right now, because like for me sometimes it changes, right? So as I told you guys, Batgirl and Supergirl both have a spot in my heart, but they're both very different superheroes, right? Batgirl and I have so much in common. It's so creepy. Like her and Commissioner Gordon are so much like me and my dad in like a weird way. And I mean, just also like how not Alfred. I feel like my hubby's dad is kind of like Alfred too. So it's always good, you know, every superhero needs like your support team, right? And friends, just like how like the birds of prey, like Dinah and Babs are besties, no different than like Kara, Supergirl, and Batgirl are also friends. So this idea that, friendships amongst superheroes, and you all have your own like missions and soul missions that you're doing, but team ups, that's always fun. I love team ups, right? Wonder Woman, great choice, Casey. I also love Wonder Woman. I have a beautiful comic book about Wonder Woman's history that I'm going to be revisiting very soon, just because I love goddesses. It's funny. So I'm going to tell you guys a story about my near-death experience, and then we're going to read a little piece of Multiversity. And then I'm welcoming you guys to join me for the first, I guess, the first meeting of the Cosmic Comic Book Club, which is going to take place every Monday, every last Monday of the month at midnight. And the difference between the comic book club and like these live reads will be the fact that we're going to be doing a bit more of like an analysis. So I'm going to have a little bit of a chart behind me, and because we have different versions of Supergirl, right? We have different versions of Superman. Even in Marvel, they explore that a bit as well. Like every world has that version of that superhero. However, like how those different versions of self interact with each other is another thing, and like the rules around it, right? Because I read you guys a comic by Alan Moore about Superman, which I think came out a couple of years after this one. And in it, Superman has like a statue for Supergirl in the Fortress of Solitude, but then like this portal opens and Supergirl from this like alternate timeline from the 30th century comes back and is like, doesn't know that she's dead in that timeline. So and Brainiac, who's good, also comes back. So just to map all that out and just see where, for you guys as well, if there's certain stories in that multiverse which resonate with you, because like at the end of this book, spoiler alert, Earth 2 basically disappears, right? And then Superman from that Earth 2 is just, he's the only one left with like the memory of that world even existing. So it's this interesting concept, right? Like, did that world even exist if it only exists in like a memory? It's like when you have a dream or like a psychedelic experience where you have like this whole lifetime that you lived out. I love the CW shows. Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, you know what though? I loved back in the day Smallville. I loved Kristen Krug as like Lana Lang. I loved Lex Luthor. I loved that friendship that Lex and Clark had. And then that old adage where like, brothers that turn into enemies and that kind of situation, or like this awareness of like, oh, I'm the villain. That's going to be my role in this. But then also this realization in the whole multiverse of things, there's always an opportunity to play the hero where it's needed. And sometimes being a villain is what's needed to progress the story in a weird way, right? Okay, so about my near-death experience, and then we're going to go into Multiversity. We're going to read about The Just, which is a fun little... so the Multiversity is written by Grant Morrison. It kind of deals with like the 52 worlds. I'm missing something in between here. Oh my goodness, thanks for the gifts, guys. Casey, thanks for the team bracelet. Volcom, thanks for the rose drop. Jean-Luc, thank you for following. Appreciate that. And also, thanks to everybody watching on YouTube. And, oh yeah, thanks you guys for for watching on other platforms as well, as I get my ish together to talk about comic books in this elevated way, right? Like, gotta go. Bye, Supergirl. Bye, Thunder Beast. You have already like a magic superhero name. Okay, so we're gonna go into The Just in just a moment. But if you're not familiar with Multiversity, we have a map of the multiverse here, which I love. So this book actually, back in the day in 2017, for a brief moment in time, my sister and I were neighbors, and so she's like, you're so trippy, you'd really like this Multiversity book, because she knew I was working on my own comic book. And I was like blown away, because it's all a model, right? And I think it's important, you guys, for us, when you're reading any kind of story, anything that's like fueling your imagination, to not be so attached to the model, right? because just because what's in a name? A rose by any other name would smell just as sweet. So this idea of what we call it, like things like the firmament or the seas above and below, and if we're talking in very symbolic verbiage, we need to have some allowance for that author to explain themselves a bit more, because we all come with our own baggage of, life and how we have ascribed certain words and like symbols and things like that. So Multiversity is pretty cool, written by Grant Morrison. In the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths, you have a character called Lila Harbinger. So she reappears in this story. She's basically she's kind of like, I don't want to call her an AI because she's kind of like more than that, but she sends out this SOS from the House of Heroes throughout all the 52 worlds to help save it because it's under attack by the Empty Hand. And so this goes into different stories from the different worlds. As you can see here, like you've got Earth 0, Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3. So if you guys, this is like the Injustice one, Injustice world. This one is a lot of Green Lantern love here. I think you got Power Girl and the Huntress. Remember, like Earth 2, I think they kind of kept that similar to what Earth 2 is like back in Crisis, where I think that this Huntress and this Power Girl, they tend to have a lot of comic book team-ups together. And I think that this Huntress is the Huntress that is Catwoman and Batman's daughter. Don't quote me on that. But this deals with like this guy who has this like hyper awareness of like the comic books being an indicator of a reality. You've got like the Marvels in an Earth. You got Earth 8. So it goes through all these different universes and it functions as a bit of a map. And of course, to some openness of worlds that have not yet been discovered that you can kind of blow out as well. Now, in this, I'm going to read you guys the gist. Let me see if I can find it quickly. But it's one of those things where like the stories don't necessarily seem like they go together. Oh my gosh, where'd it go? There's a lot of intel in this here too. All right, so the Just deals with a timeline where all of like the villains have been defeated. So the superheroes are now all like super bored. They have nothing to do but reenact old storylines and old fights. So see how it kind of looks like Tiger Beat on the front? That kind of situation. So my near-death experience when I was 3 was this. So my dad is South African, my mom is Filipino. And when I was about 3 and a half, closer to 4 years old, my mom took me to the Philippines to visit all my fams down there. I've like lots of aunties and uncles and cousins, and hello to any fam who's watching this right now. But I had an incident where me and my cousin were holding each other, like clasping your hands like this and like spinning in a circle really fast. And then she dropped me. And so I fell on the back of my head. And the way my mom tells the story is that I fell into a coma for about 24 hours and then I just woke up. Now, my memory of what happened came back to me after I had this like magical mushroom experience, and you remember an old dream. And so the way I kind of remember it is that like I fell, and you know how like there's the ground here and like your head hits the back and it's like falling through forever, right? Falling like through the ground, through the back. And then when I finally fell into this cavern, it was like this warm little cozy cave, and like looked up and there was this big red gorgeous dragon, and she looks at me and I notice that she has a broken wing, and she just says like, well, this is where all like the forgotten and broken things go. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like forgotten socks, your lost keys, that broken thing, like it's just like a place of broken things. And I realized my mission in life, and it's funny because I don't know how long I was in that cavern. In this life, I woke up on my own because it's a third world country, the Philippines, right? They don't have like the medical advances that we do in this country, which we sometimes do take for granted. But it was like a whole lifetime. It's like I spent years in this little cavern with this big red dragon and other beings, learning about how to fix things, how to mend wings, how to mend my own wings, how to heal, how to remember, how to let things know that they're not forgotten about, that just because you're broken doesn't mean you're worthless, that you can be fixed, that there's a way, right? And I made a promise to that big red dragon that I would find a way to help others remember what had been forgotten. And there's more to it. Like, it's been such a long time since I've revisited that experience. Sometimes I have this feeling where I'm like, is this just a dream? I tell my husband this sometimes. I'm like, did I just dream you and Wolfie up? And like one day I'm just gonna like wake up and I'll be in the Philippines like, oh, wait a minute, this is still just that experience, right? Because like, what is time? Oh yeah, like dreams. Like, I've always had a very active like dream world. It went away for a bit when I went under birth control. So I was on birth control for about like a while. And it's interesting because during that time I just didn't dream as much. And since stopping it, because me and my hubby want to have like kids eventually and just getting my own hormones coming back, it's just been crazy like how active my dreams are. And I took Jungian psychology in school, but also read a lot of books. And so dream interpretation, a lot of how you would interpret symbols in any of your stories is how you would interpret your dreams too, right? And so I think of all of these artistic works, even you listening to me tonight, thank you, because it's like trusting me in giving you juice for your dreams too, and your imagination, because we all influence and inspire each other, right? And so bringing stories to the surface that maybe have been forgotten about, or you maybe never heard that story before, because the truth is not loud, right? The truth doesn't shout, it doesn't scream. The truth whispers. And so sometimes you just have to be very quiet. Shut out all the other distractions, be like, okay, what is my heart telling me right now? And oftentimes in our fantastical, mythical, fictional stories, there is a truth, right? Once you can sift through decoding all of it for yourself. Because when it comes to meaning, meaning only comes from you. Like, we are meaning making beings, and anything from like this, like a totem of anything, can be meaningless to one person but have sentimental value to another, right? And how that meaning is generated is typically through stories, right? And how we generate emotional connections to things, beings, energies, and this great co-creation of reality kind of thing. A bodiless realm based on our imagination. I think that there's more to the body in those upper realms than we give it credit for, right? I get a lot of messages from spirit of like us not to discount so much like this earthly experience, right? Like to hug someone else, right? What does that feel like on upper realms kind of situation? So with that being said, now after that little commercial break, I'm just going to read you a bit of the Just, because this is a cool peek into an alternate universe where it's like the sons and daughters of all of the superheroes that we love, and they're navigating the world being like, wow, we're so bored because all of like the fighting has been done for us. So like, what does that look like, right? So we have here on the cover here, Sasha rebounding. I'm going to party Jakeem Thunder right out of my life. And then Superman and Batman, they're like a bromance. So is the world's finest bromance over? And then we have Superboy here, Con-El, don't call me Superboy, who's like slowly turning Bizarro. Because remember I told you like Kryptonians eventually become Bizarro. It's just a matter of time. So let's just get into it. Earth, me. The atoms in my bloodstream right now. Yeah, even as we speak. There's no way I'm ruining my own super party with some disgusting techno virus.
I have to think of something super, super sad in the next 10 minutes. That's what I'm saying. I have this total techno-viral horror thing from space, and I have to perform my ultimate escape from its clutches. Intense sadness could flood my amygdala with hormones and kill it dead, but I've got zero to be sad about. So this is Sister Miracle, which is Sasha Morgan, and Metamorpho, Safi Mason, who's Sasha's friend, and the location is Metropolis. How about this? We're all doomed and there's nothing we can do about it, and everything else is just a joke on us. Has any superhero ever committed suicide before, Sasha? What? I don't think so. So this is the weird thing that happens. Metamorpho, she basically offs herself. I'm going to be like, encode that because TikTok gets mad at me for saying certain words or saying certain things or topics. So basically, I have Adam, who's inside the bloodstream right now. You know, like, remember Magic School Bus being in like the bloodstream? So he's in there and he's like, whoa, what the hell just happened? Every single techno site just died. Sash, the Adam, who's in the bloodstream as she passed. Kind of crazy. What's your take on this whole comic books might be art thing, Damien? And now we're in Gotham City, Flash 2. Does this look like art to you? So Alexis Luthor in this world, who is Lex Luthor's daughter, and Batman, Damien, is they're dating. What time am I going to be done? I am planning on being done by 3 a.m. Gotten bitch tonight, at least tonight. Because tonight was like my first live back after like my live access was gone. So I'm like, whew. I wanted to revisit the multiverse in DC because I was doing a lot of research into it, how it worked, the rules. Yeah, no, and it's cool. Oh my goodness, my stuff's falling. One sec. Oh. I feel like whenever stuff like that happens, it's like a message from the universe on some set. Should I just leave it or not? No, I'm going to move it. I'll take this as a break and hope that I'm not going to flash too much that is like unsafe for work. Okay. You're not staying. Here we go. Perfect. La la la. Okay. Well, now that's done. That's the beauty of live TV, I always say. You never know what's going to happen. At least you know there's no AI up in here. Okay. That being said, though, I have a lot to talk about as it comes to technology and stuff like that. The nuance when it comes to things, I think, is what's needed in this new world. Hey, Andres. Welcome. Any new viewers. So I'm just going to finish off with the Just, and then tomorrow I'm going to be returning as Jean Grey / Phoenix. We're going to do a bit of a Marvel read and similar kind of idea dealing with multiverses. And if you want to join me for the Cosmic Comic Book Club, where we do like a deep dive into these topics, we'll be doing that next Monday. We'll do the first hour free on all my channels, but then I'll have a second hour which will have like much more spicy topics. Yes, the Phoenix rises again. And I got so tripped out reading about the Avengers versus X-Men because, yeah, I'm not going to ruin it. We'll read it tomorrow. And we can talk about the Phoenix Force and the concept of the white hot room and like what the Phoenix is and what that means when you have like a cosmic entity and what that means when it interfaces with like a being, right? And like, is it like being possessed, or is it more like, is it you? Like you are also that cosmic being on some level as well, right? Oh, thank you, Andres. It's interesting trying to like monitor all the chats. I gotta finish that comic, right? I just finished it. Just refinished it, and it's so crazy whenever you go back and reread Macron Crystals in the chat. Yeah. And I mean, I'm still trying to source that Spider-Man noir comic where they go to the Temple of Inanna, and Inanna is an equivalency goddess to many of the goddesses of love and beauty. So there's an interesting connection there to certain crystal powers and encoding intel, that kind of stuff. Let's put a little bookmark in that as well. That might be something for an upcoming Cosmic Comic Book Club discussion. The crystals, special crystals like the Infinity Stones, all the different ways, like even the lantern rings, all the different crystals and how they are encoded with certain energies and power, and how we can use that in like real life with our own crystals and stuff, right? Resurrection of Magneto at the moment. Magneto in that story actually is like kind of like a crush on him. He's kind of cute in a weird way. Okay, so Alexis Luthor is basically reading this very comic book right now. And Batman is looking at, and remember this is Damian Wayne, so Bruce Wayne's son, who is the new Batman. What are you talking about? What take? I don't have a take. I'm the Batman. You should see this. I saw it online. They're from another boring universe, and they've decided to yawn, to invade reality, etc., etc., etc. Meanwhile, I'm right here, and you're deliberately ignoring my obvious physical and intellectual charms. Is Batman gay? 2,000 words by Wednesday, students. You're kind of bitchy, Alexis. Are you certain you don't want to see this spectacle? You really don't care. Real life is better than any comic book, and this only proves it. And how ironic is it, because you're in a comic book that we're reading right now, Batman. She's like, gay. Wow, whatever. You just like offending people, don't you? Nobody cares about anything anymore. I'm reading Multiversity, but I'm not. Multiversity is a much more in-depth anthology-based story. We will be doing more of a deep dive into the different. I'm sourcing another story as well for the Monday chat about multiverses, but it's not going to be exclusive to DC. It's going to be about multiverses as a whole. So if you guys like that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, or even the new Wolverine and Deadpool movie dealt with multiverses. So any of those stories, we're going to do a deep dive into rules of engagement of multiverses and multiverses in practice in our own everyday life. Because like these guys don't know they're in a comic book, or do they? Dun dun dun. Okay. For truth. So I'm reading this thing I read about on Trashbat. It got hyped as one of the greatest and or worst pictofics of all time. This ultra thing that just came out from DC Comics. They sold the rights to Omniversal Studios. It's a predatory story. Ooh. Oh, can we all just run off to Kenosha right now? I know, I wish. I would love that. I bet the artists don't get a single... Oh, wait, hold on. Pictofic. This is what... I can't even say that. Pictofic? So picture fiction, I guess. I am live on another platform. I'm also on TikTok if you're watching me on other things. This is one of my first times trying to do it multi-streaming, and I have like 2 cameras on right now. But Andre's going forward. The one that I'll be doing off of my computer, I'm gonna just try to have a picture of the comic book so it's close up. But for now, imagine I'm like your school teacher. We're learning about comic books. I'm at the front of the class. I'm reading something to you out loud. We're gonna have a test on this on Friday. On your superheroes and like how all the multiverses work, all that kind of stuff, how the Earths are connected. Okay. So pictofic, what's wrong with calling them comic books? Wow. I bet the artists don't get a single dime. What's it about? Well, says Alexis, it's supposed to be a haunted comic. Ooh, haunted. Imagine a postmodern Pinocchio super concept character who comes to life only when you read about him. Come back to me when I'm done with it. So when did hipsters get into superhero books? Real life is much more interesting than any of that fictitious crap. Says you. So what happened with the big invasion of Dimension Earth? Superman's robots got them. It was totally boring. You were right. Alexis Luthor is never, ever wrong, darling. When I was growing up, I was punished for being wrong. What did you expect? I expected something to happen for once. What this world needs is an old school supervillain like my mom or my granddad. Like my mom. Oh, he's talking about Ra's al Ghul, right? Because Damien's mother is a villain, I think. I can't remember who Damien's mom is, but Ra's al Ghul's daughter is who Damien's mom is. So he's saying what this world needs is a good old school supervillain like my mom or granddad to liven it up. So what's so special about this piece of pictofic? Well, there's a curse on anyone who reads it. You don't believe in curses, do you? Mr. Superstitious, Cowardly Lot. Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, I do. I also believe in curses, right? And even if things like gossip and like negative energy, that kind of stuff like is a real thing. I don't deal with it. I deal with like protection spells, healing spells, and like good magic things. Because if you're dealing with like hexes and like all that nefarious stuff, it can be very problematic, and I choose not to. But am aware that let's not discount the fact that people can harbor like evil eye and negative intentions towards you even if you don't deserve it. So it's always good to protect yourself. You can just have energetic shields up, right? Or you just kind of be like, I refuse to let any untruths touch me. Just invoke it, say it, state it. It's a way of protecting yourself from any of those kinds of things, and just ensuring that you don't take on any of these untruths or anything like that. Yeah. Okay, so Batman believes in curses. He's smart man. It's true. Okay, and then he makes a little sound. It's kind of like what my mom used to like a tisk, tisk, tisk. So he makes a little sound, and then so basically they found some postmodern way to make superheroes seem interesting. That's never going to happen. Our parents did their jobs too well. Oh, hey, Evan. Oh, Ewan. Oh, Ewan, like Ewan McGregor, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm reading Multiversity, but not all of it. I'm just doing a little bit of like a taster and a amuse-bouche, I suppose. It's because I'm prefacing and hyping up the Cosmic Comic Book Club. Our very first meeting is going to be on Monday, the 27th. I'm going to have all the details up on my link tree tomorrow, but tomorrow I'll be reading Marvel. But on Monday, we're going to be looking at Multiverses as a whole through all stories with a focus on comic books, of course, but yeah. Okay, let's continue. Okay, our parents did their jobs all too well. They left us in a world without any challenges. This be the verse, best poem ever. No matter how hard they try to do the right thing, parents always screw up. My dad told me that when I was 3 years old. Your dad told you that people were mere insects, permitted to live by the grace of his intellect alone. Your dad was Lex Luthor, the ultimate criminal mastermind. Well, says Alexis, was he wrong? Come here, you bat-faced freak. And then so I guess that's foreplay. And then Batman and Alexis Luthor start getting down. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. And then I'm a mad, messed up mastermind's daughter, Damien, and I don't care if this world burns to red ash. That's why I read comic books and watch zombie apocalypse movies. Me too, girl. Hey, Pikachu. Oh my goodness. I love all the Pika Pika
oh my gosh, how do I read that name? Pikachu. Welcome. All right, so they're about to get down, and then Batman says to her, "That's what I love about you, Lexi. You're sick and you're twisted." That sounds like a healthy relationship. All the stuff that Batman likes. All you boys are so obvious in every way. You're a psycho, autistic mess, Lexi. Admit it. Admit it. They have a weird way of having foreplay, I tell you, man. Huh? Oh my gosh, it's Superman. What the hell is he doing here? Hide. But, stay out of sight. My coat's lead-laced. I will get rid of him. So I guess Superman can't see through lead. And so he wraps Lexi up in, Superman does not like the fact that Lex Luthor's daughter and his best bro, Batman, are together. But I mean, like, I think we've all been there where your, like, friend is dating someone, you're like, I don't approve of this, but I love you. And then Batman knows it, so he's like, I'm going to hide you in my lead coat and put you in a closet so that no one knows that you've been here. Okay. Oh, and thanks, Andres. 8096. I love reading out loud. It's always a fun new experience every single time. Is she a villain even? You know what? In this, there are no villains and heroes in this world. So I'm reading Multiversity, and this is a world where there are no villains, right? Because I believe it's Superman who created some robots, and these robots like did their job too well, so they got rid of all of like the bad guys. So now there's nothing for the superheroes to do, and so as a result, I feel like that's why Batman is dating Lexi, because it's kind of like his way of like keys up villain Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, kind of like, it's like this, even like Harley Quinn and like Joker, like this weird like, oh, like we love each other, but it's like this weird obsessiveness kind of thing. Okay, so Batman hides Lexi in his lead coat and puts her in the closet, and then Chris Kent, Superman, flies in. What's up, Damien? Your heart is racing. Working out, exercise, practice, superhero stuff. You said you were taking time out in space. And then Superman says back, I came back early from space. It's not so far away. I need your help, Damien. I can't just change my plans. Plans? This is serious. I get that you're not into any of this, but Metamorpho just killed herself, and no one knows why. Which means we actually have a super mystery on our hands. Your dad's robot Superman army can deal with it. They deal with everything. Remember? I can hear breathing. Megamorpho was her code name. You don't even know her actual name, do you? What was the real name of the deceased Chris? Oh, and I guess you do. You know her real name, like you always know everything. Safi. Her name was Sapphire. Sapphire Mason. She was Megamorpho to me. She was one of us. She was a superhero. It's not my fault my dad left behind the most foolproof and sophisticated planetary defense system ever created. And it's not my fault it put everyone out of work. I should have thought about it, but the super robots can't be turned off or even tampered with. Even if they could, I can't break my promise to my dad. So basically that's what they've created, a world that has like these super robots that do this planetary defense system where literally now there's no need for superheroes because like they're out of work. They're just celebrities now. Did I tell you about my team up with the Sandman? What Sandman? The Sandman? Oh my gosh. Neil Gaiman's Sandman? We all know what's going on with Neil Gaiman right now. Go ahead. Tell me. I fell asleep, and it was this whole ultimate dreams of Superman thing. I dreamed of all the things I do. Well, if there was anything left to do. It was like a Christmas Carol, but with Sandman.
I think this is from the 90s. I forget. It reads like it's from the 90s. I have to double check. Let me, you know what? Let me do a quick look just so I can speak. When was Multiversity released? I think it was in the 90s, but or early 2000s? Let me see. Oh, I thought it was like earlier than that. The Multiversity began in August 2014 and ran till April 2015. Interesting. I'm missing some stuff in between there when it comes to the multiverses, but I will get that. I will source that before we have our chat on Monday. Promise, my friends. All right, so it's good I checked that. I try not to focus on others' opinion, but I can't feel despair over the classism and elitism. Oh, Sahil, I know. It's if you are someone who is a very empathetic person when it comes to the universe, which is why I read you guys that bit with Supergirl when she talks about fighting even though things seem hopeless, right? Because this life is meant to be lived, right? And even though the powers that aren't, that's what I call them, I don't know how you guys feel about prophecy or premonition or any of those kinds of things, but I'll let you guys in on something that I have received as a message through dreams, which is that the enemy, Hunter S. Thompson has talked about this in some of his work as well. What we call the AI is also not AI truly, right? It's like it's a marketing term for machine learning. But if we talk about the concept of outsourcing our own consciousness away to an external entity and not doing the work ourselves to imagine, to dream, to work on ourselves, instead just let the AI do it or let the tech do it or like not do all that work yourself, that you're just doing yourself a disservice. Now, whatever you want to call the enemy, knows what will bring about its demise. It's just like Terminator, right? Where Skynet knows that John Connor will bring about his demise, so it tries to preemptively go into the past to prevent John Connor from being born. So I feel like the similar kind of thing is with certain beings on this earth stage. It is trying to do this thing where those who are supposed to wake up to their own special powers never do, because those beings will eventually bring about its demise. So this is just, to create is entirely divine, PCJP, right? But we do things like self-sabotage, right? Things of like, who am I? Who am I, little old me? How can I change the world? Well, my dear, yes, by just being exactly you, you can change the world, because by you having the strength to be that unique you don't realize how much that inspires others, right? Like your really close friends, even if you only have like 2 close friends, if you are able to be an amazing friend to that individual, you don't know how the ripples, how that cascading effect, like a pebble in the water, the butterfly wings, right? The butterfly effect. We don't realize how our actions echo into eternity. And so not to let fear and shame and all of like this overwhelming dread paralyze us away from what it is you're truly meant here to do. Not to say that you don't need to take time to rest, recuperate, cry it out, do what you need to alchemize a lot of these emotions that are coming up, but to be aware that like what you truly matter, right? And what you are meant to do here is what you are meant to do here, and literally no one else can do it. And no different than like you have your own favorite movies, your favorite stories, your favorite characters. Those are yours. No one can go and tell you what your favorite is, right? So the powers that aren't need to like get themselves together, because we are here. We are the ones that we are waiting for, and all it really takes, it's quite simple. It's just for you to be you, and then stand up for your other friends and family and soul family who are also doing their thing. And I've been very much called to be all like a guardian and protector. I've always been that person who like on the schoolyard
like, don't tease people, right? You don't need to be a bully. I will always stand up to bullies, or like, because it's like, I love being witty, and like people want to like say like insults, like I will insult you back. And if you want to fight, I've physically fought people too. But like, it's all just like it's all just a matter of being aligned with yourself and what you're doing, and to be aware that sometimes what you're doing in your heart of hearts, knowing that that's right, will sometimes come up against the status quo. And that's why I love Captain America, that whole speech of him saying that, like, you do have to sometimes stand like a tree, like by the river of truth, and tell the whole world to move, because like you have you know in your heart of hearts what is right. But to come to that understanding is also a whole journey in and of itself. All right, so let's continue on Multiversity. So it's funny how he was talking about the team up with Sandman. So it was like a Christmas Carol, but with Sandman. And that was your big team up with Sandman? You fell asleep and you had a dream. You have to ruin everything. I don't know what's wrong with you. We should take up Wally West's offer to join the Justice League. We are the world's finest. Why would we join the Justice League? You want something to do? How about provoke the fifth dimensionals? The last time you suggested this, the whole thing was a setup. I was punked by you and Mrs. Mistapik. Why are you trying to distract me anyway? If this is about Sasha's party, I plan to be there, but Damien, there's a lead-lined coat in your closet draped around a female figure. Oh, uh-oh. It's Alexis Luthor. You want me to tell Sasha I can't make her big party because Alexis will be there? Damien, don't start on this, Superman. You check out Safi's apartment for clues. We'll swap notes in a few hours. If it wasn't for her dad, I would still have a dad. I can smell your girlfriend, Damien. You need to take this whole superhero thing way more seriously than you do. Well, I'd take it seriously if we had anything to do. You know why Safi committed suicide? Boredom. Oh, the dark cloud won't. Sahil, I wish you light at the end of that tunnel. You know, I will always say it's always darkest before the dawn. And wherever you are in your story where it feels really dark, it's just like my favorite moment in the Two Towers. You know, the Battle of Helm's Deep, and like all seems lost, and you know Gandalf is like coming over the horizon with some backup, right? So. Right? It's just that. So you got to just hold on and trust that. I've been in those really dark places too. And there is a way out. And there is more help than you think. Right? Even though I've been there too, like being betrayed and maybe trusting the wrong people. It doesn't mean to be disillusioned with the whole thing, right? Yeah. Hey, Jared. Lots of love back at you. Okay, so that is Batman and Superman's little interaction. Alexis heard this whole interaction and she's pretty pissed off. He's already 100 miles away. I don't have to catch up with him until 4 o'clock. You're not coming to Con L's gallery opening with me? You'd rather hang out with him? I can't believe this. No art show. I'm banned from the party. What's next? Let's leave Alexis out of everything again because of what her dad did. Lexi, come on now. He hates me. Your best friend, the world's most beloved superhero, hates me. Which means everybody hates me. I don't hate you, Lexi. Come on. We'll work it out. You're the smartest girl on the planet. You're better than this. And Superman's okay. He just got this thing about his dad being dead thanks to your dad. Why don't you and Chris finally admit you love one another, Batman? Don't expect me to put up with this. I'm gonna get even. Oh, yes, of how resilient you are. Remember, you were given this life because you are strong enough to live it. Trust me, I've been through some hard places, and the things you're able to get through, other people would not be able to get through it. So trust that, yeah, exactly. Well, I'll be here tomorrow too. So I wanted to wrap this up by 3. And the gist basically goes on to kind of talk about how, like, Kyle Rayner is this world's Green Lantern. We also have the Flash, but remember, the Justice League here and everyone in this world don't actually do anything. Like, they don't actually fight crime because there isn't any crime. However, there is still this multiversal threat. Have a good night, Sil. So actually, let's go from. We're gonna jump ahead to the gallery opening. What gave you the idea for this one, Connell? Who's the creepy lady? And so this creepy lady is actually one of those interdimensional, like, invaders that's like attacking everyone. So it's interesting because this world is so, like, corrupt, right? Like, there's no bad guys, there's no challenge. So as a result, everyone's just lazy and bored and, like, no training, right? But there's this multiverse threat at hand. And so what does that mean for a world that's not used to any kind of challenge? So who's the creepy lady? She am come in dream, ugly art am good, cough, cough, hack, sorry, vapor, am inhale, yeah, Superboy, Connell. Happens all the time. That's the gray lady. Loads of people dream about her. It's a phenomenon. Is that Green Arrow's daughter? She's like 12 or something. And I bet she's invited to Sasha's party. This whole thing gives me an amazing idea. Location, Nevada desert. Ready? The Justice League. Red Amazo has absorbed the powers of the entire league. It's Doomsday Plus. Now you will die. Red Amazo, killer android bastard. Flash, Wally West. And then the Arrow's there. He's like, because remember they're doing reenactments of past fights, and this Green Arrow is like, I don't remember any of this happening. But this is what I would have done if I was there. Explosive arrow. And then the android catches it, and it explodes. As I recall, 'twas I who delivered the blow decisive, the coup de grace. Ancient Roman warcraft versus tomorrow's technology. We have Alpha Centurion, Marcus Aurelius. Is it? Marcus Aurelius, not Aurelius. I'm calling confusing. Something like a phenomenon. Something like a phenomenon. Oh my gosh, that's a great song, Keys by LL Cool J. We should bring that back. Actually, tomorrow, I'm trying to work on making a playlist for our Throwback Thursday night, and I was like, babe, let's do a lot of, like, 90s stuff. And he's like, I don't have a lot of good 90s stuff. I'm like, I will help you. I will find some. So if you have any tunes from the 90s and early 2000s you want me to source as I learn how to mix, you let me know. Okay. So here, the android punches him in the face. I don't think that was supposed to happen. And the Green Arrow says, this didn't happen. And Wonder Woman yells out, Marcus, my arm is broken. Something is wrong. Look out. Stand aside, all of you. He's mine. You tore her apart with your bare hands, laughing. Tell me, Major Force. Tell me why. Kyle, it's not Major Force. Kyle. Professor Morrow fused the Amazo and Red Tornado at a molecular level, remember? Kill Red Amazo, and our teammate also dies. No one dies. Since when do our historical battle reenactments turn into action therapy sessions for Kyle? What just happened? And why are we even doing this? I was only a reserve member at the time of these events. Any ideas? This should not have been possible. The Red Amazo's droid's been tampered with. Some weird operating system got in. I've never seen anything like it. I'd swear there's some higher dimensional component,
But until I get it back to my lab, is he okay? Yeah, he's fine. Kyle? I found my girlfriend in my refrigerator. Major Force cut her into bits and left Alex for me to find among the stir-fry vegetables and soy milk. I'm so in denial, Wally. Those comic books today brought it all back. It's like something crawled into my head. Something so bad. And you? Where were you, Argus? My only superpower is to blend into the shadows. It's midday in the desert. Whose big idea was to do an Amazo crisis anyway? Says Argus, Nick Kovac. Don't you think it's too soon? Red Tornado actually died in that whole debacle. What? Red Tornado was a robot. At least help us clean up in Hera's name. Did we really do this much damage? Battle of Boston, 3-week cleanup, remember? Not that we had to do any of the hard work. What about we rebuild it as Atlanta next time and do Aqua Crisis too? I'm fine with that as long as Garth can keep it together. Aqua Crisis. Do you know how offensive that sounds? You guys tossing around the A word like it's nothing. This isn't much like fighting evil, is it? Well, we need to do something to keep us fit. Who knows when the next alien invasion might arrive? Who knows when we might be needed? Hey, Mr. Top Ramen. Thanks for the like. We're reading Multiversity. I'm reading a little section of The Just where it's an alternate reality where all the sons and daughters of all the superheroes are all super bored because Superman created this like planetary defense system that worked almost too well, and now there's like no challenge. So all of what these guys are doing are like reenactments. The Juice King, I do cosplay for parties. I do like, how should I put it? I'm a go-go dancer. So I'm actually working on putting together like a group of go-go dancers that are also cosplay along with my hubby who DJs. And I'm also learning how to DJ. So depending if parties want me to do any kind of acting involved in that, because I do MC as well. So yeah, kind of similar situation. Oh yeah, have a good night, gone bitch. I actually went later than I said I would, as per usual. So I'll catch you next time. Okay, sounds good. All right, so now we're here. Superman was here and then he wasn't. I already spoke to the cops and everybody else. Batman, please. You and Safi have been together for 18 months. 2 shapeshifters. Shouldn't you be just a little, I don't know, more upset? I am upset. Just look at me. I can't get past this level boss on Young Justice. She'll come back. Safi could change into gas. You couldn't even see or smell, and she'd always come back from next to nothing. She'll come back. She'll knock on that door and she committed suicide after reading a comic book. What's wrong with you people? What really happened here? She was reading a comic book. Then she called Sasha Norman. Why do you have to threaten everybody? Comic books. Show me the comic books, Ernie. What was she reading before she died? Who publishes this stuff? Society of Superheroes. DC Comics. Where do you even get these? I'm mostly a fan of the major comics books, but there's a ton of cool stuff in this stack. Old stuff, too. Check the Indica. Oh, I keep on calling it Indica. Indicica? Anyways. This is a new book, a cursed comic book, something called Ultra Comics. You got that one. Wait a minute. What the hell? Superman, it's me. Where are you? I have got something. Of course, the world's greatest detective in Batman. And then here, mental, right? You inherited your telepathic helmet from your dad. I only just started working with it. Superman, wow. They asked me to search for traces of consciousness in Megamorpho's, her remains. I got something else. The Gray Lady. The Gentry. It freaked me out. But I'm okay now that you're here. I can try again in a minute. If there's anything else I can do to help Superman, I want to be a superhero more than anything else. Well, I'll let you know. Gentlemen, any new leads? Paramedics scraped up a combination of human tissue, tungsten, coal, a mess, basically. She was between physical states when she died. Bloodwind here is something of a necromancer. My blood gem gives me the access to the world of the dead. I'll do what I can. I'm no Batman, but, well, maybe that's just as well. One Batman is about as much as the world needs. Ha 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 ha. Always making fun of Batman. And then Batman in the doorway is like, well, sorry to interrupt. There's something I need you to see, Batman. And then location, Planet Krypton Restaurant. Do what I did, get into the mountains, shave your head, reject the shallow materialistic culture. You shave your head because you're going bald like Granddad. You're cosmically embarrassing. Meditate. You know, I turned down a hot date with an ex-supervillainess to come here, you know. Are you planning to just ignore my sacrifice, Cassie? Just met Superman. We're forming our own super team, just called the Just. I need your trick arrows, Dad. Arrowette. Sissy King Hawk, Green Arrow's daughter. Ah, so that's what this is about. You don't train. You've never been in a fight. You look like a stripper in that costume. Dad, I do not look like a stripper. A bunch of trick arrows won't make you a superhero. I had to make my own arrows. Anyways, crime is a thing of the past. Honey, I don't want you getting all involved in that rough and tumble superhero stuff. It's not a game for spoiled kids. You could actually get hurt. Dad, it is a game, though. I'm just saying things can go wrong sometimes. Even a utopia can screw up. Dad, I'm going to be 17 in just 2 weeks. If I don't get the arrows, we won't qualify as a team. Dad? You can have 4 arrows and no explosives. 5. 5, and I won't ever ask again. And what is this supposed to be? Do I look like I want to be fat? Who ordered this? You did, miss. Spoiled. That is so unfair, as she's acting spoiled. Funny. And then back to Superman and Batman. Batman's showing Superman. Well, what do you see? Superman says, well, what am I supposed to be looking for here? Cellulose pulp, formaldehyde, wax emulsion. It's not about the chemical composition. Try the content, Chris. The cordyceps fungus takes control of an ant's brain, then spores via its host's head. Imagine a life form like that, disguised as a story. A set of deadly hypnotic inductions. This comic book says it's a warning from a parallel universe. This device the heroes of the story are trying to create. It's some kind of bridge between the worlds. Alexis got into these comics recently. It's some hipster thing. But that's not the weird part. Look again. There's more. The story's only part of it. Read the publisher's Indica. I keep calling it Indica. Indixia? You said there was no mystery. Now there's this? Is this another of your jokes? Keyhole Comics, published by Wiz Media, based at 33 Beck Plaza, Fawcett City. Except there is no Fawcett City. Quantum Comics, published in Hub City. Spire Comics out of Cosmoville, Blue Stamp, Satellite City, Victory Comics, New Hooverville. 6 different publishing houses. Only one has an address in this world. What if these comic books are bleeding through from parallel universes? This isn't a setup. Everyone who reads this comic becomes what? Infected? Like Safi? Like Eddie? Oh no, Alexis. So perhaps Alexis may also be infected by the haunted comic book. You think I, or my associate Gypsy here, care about wearing a costume and hanging around with a bunch of Justice League has-beens? I'm the multi-mage of this earth, sent here by a higher power. I have been waiting, biding my time, for the day of the demon to dawn, and now it has. The demon identifies its target world and then contaminates its coasts, its readers, one by one. And now they've found a way into us. What was once Sapphire Mason tells me comic books are the carriers. She says, who's that knocking at the door? A demon disguised as a comic book, invading the world, entering unprotected human minds. Is that even possible? I'm a man of science, Bloodwind. Warn them, she says. By the time we realize what's happening, it will be too late. They just left. Batman and Superman. They said something about a killer comic book? This is uber dope, sissy. I totally just hung out with Superman and Batman. I think I just wet myself. Alexis had a copy of Ultra Comics. Enough. Do your dad's robots have to follow us everywhere? Will something put them in bodyguard mode? They can't help it. Look, everyone can see this but you. But Alexis is poison. You're supposed to be the world's greatest detective. I'm the son of the world's greatest detective. So you admit that you resent my relationship with Lexi. You think it means the end of the world's finest. Who else was off the guest list, Damien? And who the hell is that? Alexis was off the list because of your prejudice, good guy. Why would you want to piss her off in the first place? Well, the only girls you ever date are psychos. Damien, who else is missing from the guest list? Somebody with a grudge and unlimited power. What are you? Jakeem Thunder. So this is where I'm going to end it today. This goes on. Actually, there's a couple more pages. Maybe I should just finish it. Yeah, let's just finish it. It's just the big party that Alexis wasn't invited to. And then she ends up kind of like sabotaging. I know, right? Okay. Location, Malibu, California. So I just heard from Menta about why Sapphire Mason actually committed suicide. Batman's girlfriend used Jakeem Thunder's genie to infect her with some death curse, and now the world's about to be invaded from an alternate reality. It's amazing. I'm going to get to use my arrows. The neighbors want you to turn down the noise. Whatevs. Superman's robots can deal with the invasion like they usually do. What happened to Superman and Batman anyways? Turn down the noise or I'll call the Justice League. The mayhem begins. Party to end all parties. Parallel worlds. Isn't it nuts? That means another me. I wonder what she's like. I mean, how cool would it be to meet yourself? And then it goes into Earth Me. So I guess now we have a little bit of a problem. So that's how it kind of ends. It's interesting too though, because Harbinger, there's the House of Heroes, right? And from all the 52 worlds, they basically, oh my gosh, I think I'm a bit frozen here on this. I'm gonna wrap up on this stream here. I think hey Rachel Mora, I am cosplaying. It looks like my stream is starting to like conk out on me 2 hours in. So thank you guys for joining me for my first live back on both TikTok and everywhere in terms of reading comic books to you guys, because I do feel like comic books to me are a new way of understanding myth. Comic books are such a unique medium, right? Because it both has like, you know, the artistry of the images as well as like the dialogue. So it's a way of interfacing and engaging with a story in such a beautiful way and such a unique way for it to provide intel and resonance for you. So I hope that you had fun on this read with me as Supergirl, your host for tonight's cosplay and comic books. I will be back on tomorrow. We'll be doing some Jean Grey slash Phoenix Force tomorrow, and we're going to be reading Avengers versus X-Men. And we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive on the Phoenix Force, the cosmic force of all life and death and creation, rebirth, all those juicy concepts. So tomorrow in the day, we'll do a bit more of like an astro cosmic. We'll see what kind of reading I'll do with the cards. I did a one card pull last time. We might do more signs. Oh, and thanks ATP Jaco. Thank you for all of you guys. If you're new to the live, welcome. I am a super nerd. And I enjoy sharing the stories that have helped me get through some tough times and sharing them with you. So if you want to join the Cosmic Comic Book Club, which is basically my comic book specific live stuff with all of like the library of reads, I'm gonna have that info coming up very soon. Our first meeting, I'm gonna be doing an analysis, like book club, every last Monday of the month. So the first one will be this Monday. The first hour will be free, and the second hour will be just for members, because we're going to delve into multiverses, all multiverses. So the DC one, the Marvel one, as well as different ones like from Terminator or different anime worlds. I have some Sailor Moon intel as well to interface with, and I think by taking all these stories about multiverses and mapping them out, there's a way of us achieving real understanding of how magical this reality truly is, and how to really activate ourselves in this game of life so it can be a lot more fun for us and our friends. So thanks you guys for joining me for this read. I'm so happy to be back. Remember, it takes true courage for you to be exactly you in this game of life, right? Because the universe is counting on you. But no worries, I got your back. Until next time, friends, stay super.